The freight elevator, he swore, was out of service. The alert slid onto our shared calendar at 6:31 p.m. Soft opening, hotel, late. It wore the tone of a tuxedo already writing its apology. 2 minutes later, Adrian texted, "Don't wait up. Investors want a walkthrough after. Proud of me." Read, "He spends the heart when the rest of the sentence hopes I won't do the math." I turned the heat under the sauce to the sort of simmer that calls itself grown-up, and watched the hotel across the Avenue Preen in glass and intention. The calendar square pulsed once on my phone and lay obediently still. I rinsed a clean spoon because sometimes being a mammal is the only honest verb available. At 6:58, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize and a message that knew me anyway. If it's investors, why did he just badge the freight elevator that's supposedly out of service? Service alley off 24th. The dock guard owes me a cigarette. It was signed with a single letter, age, like a door propped by a thumb. Hayes runs nights the way good ushers run miracles. No fuss, all recall. He and Adrian trade competence as a matter of faith. He and I traded one cigarette in winter and a laugh that felt like a debt. We have not touched where anyone could put a name on it. I kept his letter in my phone because alphabets save more evenings than calendars do. "Why tell me?" I typed. "Because your calendar is polite and my badge logs aren't," he wrote back. Because he looked up before he pressed the button. People only look up when they want oxygen. Because that lift doesn't break without being asked to. The service alley tasted like rain and deliveries. The dock guard nodded me through with the weary grace of men who know where secrets go to smoke. Hayes had the freight door half open. He looked like he belonged in a photograph that had never been taken. "I can give you 3 minutes of privacy," he said. "The rest is your grammar." The freight elevator sighed us up like a throat clearing. On 5, the doors eased onto a service corridor that pretended to be discreet. The out-of-service sign on the elevator call button tried to be convincing in a font that believed itself. Around a corner, a door with a keycard reader and a paper placard, "Model Suite," had the humility to accept contradiction. It clicked because some knights think they're clever. The model suite had been dressed by someone who enjoys being trusted. Lamps the color of mercy. A bar the color of dew as you are told. The city poured its opinion through the floor-to-ceiling glass. Adrian stood near it with his jacket off and his shirt open, one button past harmless. Opposite him, resting 2 fingers on the rim of a rock's glass-like punctuation, was Victor Lang, fund donor, a rumor who stops rumors by owning them. Victor's hand hovered near Adrian's wrist without landing. The room, like all rooms confident in their power to forgive, kept score. "Out of service," I said from the entry, and my voice behaved better than the rest of me. Adrian turned, and for a breath the truth used his face as a window. Then he remembered where he'd put his manners. "Evan," he said, "I how did." "Hayes believes in doors," I said. "I prefer nouns." Victor smiled in the tone of a man who knows which cameras are worth liking. "We were rehearsing the pitch," he said. "He looks good where light does half the work." "Light is a subsidy," I said. "What are you paying with?" Adrian took a step and then trusted the carpet not to move. "We were going over the walkthrough," he said. He wanted to see how the suite would photograph. "It photographs like selection," Victor said, gracious as a bill. "And we do enjoy that." He lifted his glass, did not drink. 2 minutes, he said. "They're expensive, spend them correctly." He moved toward the hall with the practiced indifference of men who purchase weather. In passing, he placed his fingertips on Adrian's shoulder with exactly the weight that money uses to say please. The door thought better of staying open. Adrian watched me like he had invented bad timing, and only now realized the patent was worthless. "I was going to text you," he said, softer. The voice he uses when the refrigerator light is the only honest witness. "After I could say I chose you without sounding like a man who needed to be supervised." "You wanted to be caught," I said. "Not punished, caught." He laughed once, the sound of a man who finds his better self both embarrassing and handy. "Yes," he said, "I wanted the grammar." There is a temperature at which grammar becomes a coat to be left on a chair. I crossed the carpet and put my mouth on his because the glass could mind its own reflection, and the room had been paid enough to keep secrets. He kissed back like a man who had been practicing restraint in the wrong places. He tasted like investor bourbon and a decision heading for a balcony. My thumb found the hinge of his jaw and pressed. He made that involuntary sound I keep receipts for. He slid his palm under my shirt and held it flat against my back like the only honest sentence available. We didn't undress. We let restraint do its better trick. He broke the kiss first because he knows what happens when heat finds a camera. He rested his forehead against mine, and our breath negotiated. "I didn't kiss him," he said. "I wanted to want to. I asked Hayes to text you instead." "You did," I said. "He likes oxygen more than evidence." From the hallway, the soft click of courtesy. Victor reappeared with the graciousness that fails only when someone insists on accounting. His gaze took the measure of our faces and revised nothing. "We'll ink the schedule tomorrow," he told Adrian, then to me. "You're better at arrivals than most." "I practice exits more," I said. Victor departed as if leaving were a service he offered. Hayes stepped into the doorway exactly far enough to be useful without becoming part of the story. "Service elevators hours for 60 seconds, he said. "That's me stealing from no one." "Thank you," Adrian said. "Go," Hayes said to me. "You've got the better truck." We rode down in a silence that didn't pretend to be anything else. The dock guard pretended not to watch us not look at him. We walked home through a city still teaching itself to glitter. In the kitchen, the sauce remembered me. Adrian leaned against the counter with the posture of a man who had retired from being interesting. He told me Victor had been sculpting a compliment into a proposition for months, and he had helped because selection feels like love when usefulness has emptied its pockets. I told him Hayes had texted because some men prefer air to salvage. He didn't ask if Hayes and I had ever donated nouns to a worse evening. I didn't tell him I liked the way freight elevators make honesty carry things. We ate standing up, not out of drama, but because chairs can be smug. Later in the bedroom, we left a sliver of cool and then let it surrender because we were through pretending we needed permission. He kissed me with the steadiness of a signed check. I put my mouth where his jaw learns humility and told it a morning. It was heat without theater. He slept with his hand on my wrist, not as proof and not as claim, just counting the thing we are trying to keep. Morning poured coffee without needing to be asked twice. He tied a tie over a throat I have elected to save more often than I confess, and kissed me like the calendar wasn't a landlord. At the door, he said my name the way east windows say yes to kitchen tables. I set his back like a map that knows the only route that matters. At 9:09 a text arrived from a number saved under one letter. No stills left the admin network. I taught the cameras to admire an empty hall for 20 minutes. Consider it union rules for truth. I sent, "You're very proud of your unions." He replied, "I'm proud of your exit." No punctuation, correct. By noon, a hospitality blog posted a photo of the hotel's chandelier like a confession, captioned with optimism that had no receipt. I scrolled past. It wasn't our room. At 1:26, Adrian texted a picture of our kitchen table with the plant we keep almost killing basking in a square of midday that wanted applause. Room exists, he wrote. I believed him because the glass wore my fingerprints and because somewhere a night manager with an honest badge was teaching a door how to tell itself the truth. That evening when he kissed me at the bedroom door, it wasn't apology or receipt. It was a decision with heat in it. The calendar square for tomorrow stayed blank. We left it alone, which in this city counts as a scandal, and when you bother to practice it, the only erotics worth paying for.